My name is Ventura Mufume. I was at Michigan State from 2015-2016.
Janika Pare, Humphrey Fellow at Michigan State University, 2011-2012.
My name is Glew. I'm the Associate Dean for Academic Programs in our Office of International Studies and Programs, and I've been engaged with the program for the past 17 years.
I am Marcel Dorasami. I'm from Mauritius. I was at Michigan State University 2009 to 2010.
I studied economic development at MSU. It was really interesting through different courses, and also, the life in Spartan village. So it's a calm place to study. It was really great. And the great time also was the professional affiliation that I get at the World Bank through the Hunger Project. Before coming to the US, I was working as a sales manager in the private sector. So I didn't want to stay there because of corruption. You have to give bribes to different ministers and stuff like that. So I wanted to switch my career to development. So with the experience I acquired at the World Bank in different development organizations, I came back to my country, I just resigned and set up my consulting firm, Expertise Consulting, focused on government relations, project management, capacity building and stuff like that. So I'm working with different US organizations. I'm the country consultant of the Gates Foundation, Vital Wave, and different US organizations, as well as working with my government, my country, the AU and stuff like that. I'm really, really happy because this is a wonderful program, and I would say three main things: hardworking, because in the US I could work from 8 a.m. to midnight or something really good. You could discover your potential, and the second point is trustworthy. In the US, in my country, people could promise things, but in the US, for example, from my consultants at the World Bank, I just send emails and people say, yeah, you have a position, and they keep it. They love that. And also volunteering. In my country, we don't have this culture of volunteering. So in the US, I learned that, how to volunteer. And once back to my country, I volunteered to be the president of the US Exchange Alumni Association, and I'm giving back right now to the community. I'm really happy to have been participating to this program. And thank you to MSU.
Before joining the MSU in 2009, I was in the private sector, and I was studying economic development. My field of study was mainly about digital economy. So when I got my professional affiliation at the Center for Creative Leadership in North Carolina, I got to know about leadership development in the digital economy. So when I was back to Mauritius in 2010, I immediately got an offer to work as senior advisor in the government, advising the government and the minister on innovation and technology in the field of digital economy. 3 years after having 3 years at the government, I stepped back. I created my own company because I could see the gap, because in government it's very difficult to move on what you have learned in US, for example, as an entrepreneur, as new skills. So I created my own company, and my company is my name, it's Dora Crea. So we have created this company, and we develop people on future-proof skills. And those future-proof skills that we cannot have in the normal academic institution like universities, even the state or private universities, I've been able to get agreement with several institutions in the UK, and I have one in mind in the US. And the US institution is a Global Innovation Management Institute in Boston, US. I'm running the program in Mauritius for Africa. So I've got a very good network, and thanks to Michigan State University and my professional affiliation over there. And recently, last week, I got one additional affiliation with the National University of Singapore. Just to let you know that I'm a private sector organization. I've been able to introduce myself in the government sector, because NUS is a government institution in Singapore, is one of the leading institutions in innovation. I've been able to interact and get this agreement. So my takeaway would be, when you are in the Humphrey program, try to lead, try to understand negotiation, and you have to get through. You have to forget about any government assistance. If you are willing to join and to get something well done, you have to do it. And when I was at MSU, I've been able to have some speeches with MSU, the MSU community itself, and at Lansing, to showcase how we have to be bilingual in this world. And Mauritius being bilingual English and French, this was very surprising when we were at Michigan, like we need to have at least 2 languages taught at primary school, 5 years old. And I share that with many of the Lansing community over there for try to create something yourself and put the people to be bilingual, because the economy of tomorrow, you need to be bilingual.
Well, as for me, I also engaged with the community, and one particularly touching experience was to be invited by the UN chapter of East Lansing and go to a Montessori elementary school and talk to these kids and had them ask me, so many questions about Africa, about Mozambique, about the education system. And I was, focusing the message in letting them understand that they are so privileged, to study in such a developed school with so many resources, and also, having the teachers to teach them, because we still have this challenge in Mozambique and in many other African countries where in similar schools, elementary, children just have few subjects and they're not exposed, to what the economy is heading towards. They just taught, the normal literacy. So I was bringing this message to these children and opening them their eyes to let them know that they should value the education they have.
As far as I'm concerned, I really learned about culture, how we could, have different point of views on different subjects, and how we can tolerate and also accept the different point of views. For example, I remember that one experience when we were there in Spartan village, we had like a task to do, and we had like 2 days of deadlines. And it was impossible to do that. And I was the one that was leading this group. We didn't speak, we worked for the overnight. But for other people, for the people from Azerbaijan and other countries, it's not possible. How could you men, because I was the only one woman, how could you men be led by this lady to work overnight? It was not acceptable. But we worked, it was perfect, and we reached our goals. So this is like, sometimes they say it's not possible for women, they couldn't accept that, but they were able to do that, and we could accept different point of views.
So as you know, Michigan State is a global university, and we value international partnerships as one of the ways we can move forward with our comprehensive internationalization strategies. Looking back on the past 17 years of our program, we found that in almost every case we can give examples of the mutually beneficial nature of the Hubert H. Humphrey Fellowship Program in our experience at MSU. In particular, our faculty value the fellows' presence by diversifying the perspectives that are presented in their classrooms. Our community members value our fellows because they not only serve as local hosts to facilitate their transition upon arrival, but also network to begin building a much broader set of relationships within our community and talking more about the countries from which they come. Then Chira mentioned visiting schools. That's a very common aspect of our fellows' experience. They go into classrooms on very short notice and are able to convey firsthand information and examples about life in other parts of the world. Personally, I've benefited from learning from over almost 200 alum at this point. And in the past, as we look back, part of the area that we value within our faculty research portfolios, in several cases we've had very prominent examples of ongoing relationships. We're looking to continue to build and promote on those types of experiences. And in effect, our fellows expand and strengthen the Michigan State University network of expertise around the world. And in examples that come up quite frequently, we were able to look to those fellows right off the bat as starting points for new projects, and they often will come to us with new ideas that we can also support.
What I learned about leadership at Michigan State, leadership is about empathy. You have to love the people first, you have to love the cause, and make it as if it's your own. That's what I can summarize.
As far as I'm concerned, in addition to treating people with empathy, I think that a leader should be a visionary, should have a vision. And for me, in general, people say, sky is the limit. But for me, I would say there is no sky, there's no limit. As soon as you can, have ideas and have a vision to impact this world. Because every day I ask myself, if I die today, so what have been, my contribution in this world? So I need to impact community people, in the communities, and so that, the other generation can definitely benefit from it.
For me, I would say leadership is about the contribution to the community. So whatever you gathered somewhere, if you can share it for free, and the community is getting something out of it, this is the best way. And I've been able to do that back home. I've been able to bring any training, for example, in capacity building for the people of Mauritius and part of Africa. And sometimes we do it for free. And this is what makes leadership, because we train others to be leaders in the world.
Well, I think having tried to keep up in reading about leadership and understanding the dynamics of contemporary leadership, I tend to think of it in terms of transformative leadership, which is a well-known concept. And we know that transformative leaders are ethical, they're role models, they set paths, as our friends here have described. And at the end of the day, a technical definition of a leader is someone who has followers. But to be specific in the case of Humphrey, is we hear from our alum over time, we are seeing them develop large followings, and we see them demonstrating elements of transformative leadership and giving us inspiration and role models for our incoming classes.